Anyhow, one of the oldest things I had found was a program, was it a March 1983 concert? And that was really the only place I found a program where it talked about the beginning of the band.
Mm-hmm.
And it said that the band started in the summer of '81, and that you had conducted that period until about June '82 when you left to take a job at the Performing Arts Center. Well, let's talk a little bit about the beginnings of the band. Why don't you tell us kind of what happened just before this band got started and why it got started
Okay.
and who was involved, it came to you and
To the
things like
best
that.
of my recollection, there was a community orchestra that was forming, maybe had formed, and they were
I
looking.
think it had formed.
They were looking for a conductor, and at the time I was still in school, and I had a good friend named James Perry who was a trombone player. Anyway, he and I looked at each other and went, "We should go audition for this community orchestra conductor position." So we did. I don't remember what I did for my audition. He did the Delius Walk through the Paradise Garden. And neither one of us got it. I don't remember who did get it, but we were both called a week later and said, "Well, thanks very much for your audition. You did nicely. We're going to pick this other guy." And I went, "Okay, fine." And then a couple of days later, I think it was David Parker who called me and said, "We got an idea we want to talk about." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "Well, what's up?" And he says, "Well, we've decided that this orchestra is not going to be to the point where they can really utilize winds and brass and percussion very soon." And he said, "Some of us were talking and we were wondering if you'd be interested in conducting a wind group." And I said, "Well, okay. How do you want to start it?" And he says, "Well, I'll call everybody and we'll just have a meeting and we'll see how many people show up."
Was that Pierce Junior?
And I think it was at Pierce Junior High in the cafetorium. And I guess the first time we might have had 15 or 20 people there. It was very small. And I guess over the course of the first 6 months, we got it up to where most of the time we had about 35 people there. And sometimes it was pretty frustrating. I mean, we'd come to rehearsal and there'd be 15, 16 people. But then sometimes there were times we'd come to rehearsal and there'd be 40 people there. But I think we gave a couple of good concerts.
Let me tell you what that program said. It says that concerts that year were given at Highland Mall,
That's right.
Barton Creek Mall,
Yeah.
Westwood High School, and Zilker Hillside Theater.
Okay.
What year was that?
That was from the summer of '81 to the June of '82.
So that was basically the first year. One of the mall concerts would have been a Christmas concert. We would have done, I'm sure we did Christmas Festival and all the other things like that. The other mall concert, I'm sure we did a bunch of marches, and that was when we did the Rossini. And I remember that I have a flash section memory of that because Walter DeClue's wife was shopping at the time.
Oh.
And heard the music and came by.
Oh, okay.
And stood there and listened to most of the concert. And then when we were finished, walked up and she said, "What's this?" Because I knew her from taking with DeClue. And I said, "Well, this is a relatively new group in town." She said, "Well, how long have you been together?" And I said, "It was either 4 months or 6 months at that point." She says, "Well, it sounds very nice," which I took as a real compliment
Sure.
because she was pretty critical of how good stuff sounded or didn't sound.
May 27th, 2003. Going to be an interview with Frank Simon, the first conductor of the Austin Symphonic Band.